Erika suddenly rose from her chair. Renov tried to coax her back into her seat, but Erika's attention was completely focused on those arguing under the arbor. I am the detective. My memory of what I hear is as good as a recording. We are aware of that, of course. You are quite an excellent detective after all. I'm not interested in you. Goda-san, I have one question for you. He ruined it, didn't he? Look at his face here.
Yes, ma'am. Have I done something to cause offense?
Hold on. Don't forget that some of us are opposed to fighting. I think we should surrender. Those were the first words I heard from you when I arrived here. However, you just said this. We must fight. It would be outrageous to accept defeat without fighting. As I've said from the beginning, fighting with all we have is the only option. That's what you said.
Well, did I say that? It is hardly strange for an opinion to change in the course of a discussion. Indeed, all of us have been feeling doubts about our positions lately, so an occasional change of opinion wouldn't be...
No. From beginning to end, no one has changed their opinion in this argument. Just now, Goda-san alone flipped his position 180 degrees. Damn it, get your shit together. Seriously. Oh, hello, El Magneto. That is the same reaction I just had. Furthermore, I can't imagine that any of the statements made by the rest of you were sufficient to make Goda-san switch his position. An uncomfortable, moist wind blew by. Everyone was silent. Frozen as though time had stopped. In that silence, Erika continued with a blank expression. This can lead us to two conclusions. First, it may be that Goda-san has no opinion and is just a loser who will say anything that goes with the flow. Well, I mean, that's not exactly unrealistic. Second, it may be that none of you has an opinion, and that this entire argument exists only for its own sake. Aren't you overthinking this a bit? Here we are in a desperate debate that will decide our fate. I hardly think it strange that some people would act abnormally under such pressure. The only reason for prolonging a meaningless argument is to buy time. Do you have anything to gain by buying time? Is it because Lady Lambda Delta's reinforcements will come? That can't be true either. After all, for some time now, I have heard all of you speak to Lady Lambda Delta and Battle occasionally, but not once have I heard them reply. Taking all of this into account, we are left with only one conclusion. Oh, that's it. Goda just ruined it. That Lady Lambda Delta and Battler are not here now, and that these people have won Lady Lambda Delta's assistance, with Lady Lambda Delta and Battler probably planning to sneak into the City of Books. In which case, their goal is probably to steal back the Golden Key and Angie, and your plan was to act as bait and buy time until their mission was complete. But because of Goda-san's single, poorly chosen line, this level of reasoning is possible for... Erika. What do you think, everyone? With a blank yet ruthless expression, Erika spoke these words and returned to her seat. Everyone else was frozen, unable to move. No one spoke. However, time was moving. As evidence, a bead of sweat dripped down someone's cheek, fell, and hit the table with a tiny yet audible splat. Did they just murder her? Just like that? Then frozen time shattered, and in the same instant, the white chair Erika had been sitting in broke apart. The stakes of the Seven Sisters of Purgatory and the high-velocity round from the Chichester Sister Corps hit the chair at exactly the same time, and a few moments after that, the Erika sitting in that chair faded and vanished. After image! She's fast, kill her! In an instant, Erika had moved to a spot behind the chair. Her expression remained as blank as it had been before. However, there was now something in her hand that hadn't been there. As the 7 lightning strikes of the Seven Sisters raced at her once more, she batted all of them away to the side. Well, damn. It was one hell of a farce, but the tea was good. Thanks for the meal. Well, now, it seems that you've all been in agreement since the start. Allow me to ask for your answer once again. Erika lifted her hand, her left hand, the one that wasn't holding the sign. Very well, allow me to answer. This golden land belongs to me, to all of us. If you enter with your shoes on, we'll give you a proper welcome. In other words, to put it elegantly. Our cannons prepare to fire. Target the golden land. Wash your face in miso soup. Shoot him to anyway. Yes, thank you. See you around. Meow. Bandcastle set down the receiver and crossed out yet another name on a list of Lambda Delta's notable friends. I find this actually quite hilarious that she's using the phone to call all of Lambda Delta's friends when none of this is true. And she doesn't even know how to act on the phone, so she's probably super awkward about it. Something was wrong. Not a single person she called heard anything from Lambda Delta. They weren't just plain dumb. They really knew nothing about the strange ruckus Lambda Delta was trying to stir up. Even Bandcastle was starting to suspect that something was fishy. Then a black cat leapt in and meowed a frantic report. Lambda Delta aren't in the Golden Land. She tore the phone receiver from its stand. The number she dialed was short. It was probably an internal line. However, after listening to it ring several times, she slammed the receiver down again and finally managed to break the phone. God, all the cats are on busy. This is an emergency. The cats ahead guarding the key are responding. Oh. Lambda. Bandcastle, overwhelmed with emotion, kicked the table over. Then the room finally grew bright. It was like green sunlight. The bright green light waved about, giving the illusion that the green sun was rising and lighting the room up. It was a sign that Bandcastle's army had been given an emergency summons. Come, my kitties. Crazy cat lady. It's time for a witch hunt. That kid always smells like candy, so you'll find her pretty fast. The first cat who finds her gets human form and the witch's title. What was now an emerald green nebula let out a roar of delight that shook the bookshelf cliff. Something's chasing us. What is that? A green sun? Hide! Hey now! The three of them frantically hid behind a bookshelf. The room with the key in it was straight ahead. They could see something glinting faintly in the darkness of that room. It was a glint different from anything else they had seen so far in the city. I guess Eva's gonna save the day one more time. The color of the glint was gold. They had almost reached the golden key. However, if they went towards it, Bandcastle would be right behind them along with a vast swarm of familiars. In other words, they were trapped in a dead end. They already knew that the emerald green color came from the eyes of the familiars. However, it was almost beyond comprehension that this undulating green sun could be the same thing, and they could do nothing except stare in wide-eyed shock. The countless cats were passing through the ravine of bookshelves from the very top to the very bottom. As they approached, they painstakingly checked the gaps between each book. However, even this mind-numbingly huge task was accomplished swiftly thanks to the sheer number of familiars. Well, then what point is there in hiding? With the speed of a gust of wind, they carefully checked every nook and cranny. There was no way to hide from this green sun. That would have been as foolish as trying to hide from water in a sinking ship. Yeah, good luck with that. Will we be able to hide until they pass us? No. At this rate, we'll be found no matter where we go. Val was just about to leap out from the shadows, but Lambda Delta grabbed him by the collar an instant before. Are you thinking of fighting? No, but we'll be found if we just stand here. So we have to move forward. We need to reach the key as soon as possible. You really think there won't be cats guarding the key? We'll just be pinched between. I believe in our Eva. She's the one who guided us this far. I'm sure she took care of the guard cats too. I agree. But we're going to be found anyway. Let's try and get there as fast as possible and grab the key. If we can just do that, no one will be able to open the book. So you'll rush in there and grab the key. And then what? That place is a dead end, right? You realize there'll be no way to run, don't you? You could just teleport us back out, can't you? I mean, how did you bring us here? Couldn't you just bring us back? We know that, but the key will be our trump card. It's vitally important to Bandcastle too. If worst comes to worst, we might be able to use the key as a bargaining chip. Bargain with Byrne? You're insane. But if we hide here, we'll definitely be found. In that case, I'll take a bet on a billion to one chance. We'll get the key and have that be our trump card. So you're praying for a miracle to win against the Witch of Miracles? Picking a winner out of astronomically bad odds. That's the shooting me a family's magic. I've got good eyesight, so let me enlighten you. Can you see those magic circles around the golden key? It's a simple barrier, but a pretty strong one. It'll break if you just touch it, but it's the sort of annoying seal that will take exactly 1 hour to fate, whether a great witch or a lowly human does it. It's still over an hour before the ceremony begins. In other words, we won't even be able to touch the key unless we can buy time for a whole hour. What? But what if I took out the guard cat? She must have broken the magic circle too. It probably won't take an hour. As far as I can see, the magic circle is still intact. Sorry to say it, but even if Eva did touch it, it was less than an hour ago. Well, what's an hour? At least we know we can grab it if we manage to stick around that long. Yeah, sure, let's play tag for an hour. I'm used to getting chased around by thugs. You two are really out of your goddamn minds. You're really planning to play tag against Baron and all our cats? If there's even a 1% chance, you can be certain that we'll grab it. The difference in enthusiasm between the siblings who had everything to lose and Lambda Delta was immense. However, Lambda Delta was no coward. She was a great witch of the Senate. If she surrendered, she wouldn't be able to escape severe punishment, but she would be forgiven after a few hundred years. Why would she, after being thrown into a stormy sea while clutching a boy that could save only her, decide to throw that boy away? No living person could be as determined as those siblings who were already fighting for their lives. No one could blame Lambda. You two really are stupid, you know that? Oh well. Why don't I tell you about a plan that's got a bit more than a 1% chance of working? How does that sound? The two siblings looked at each other. However, they both thought that any plan would be worth listening to, even if it would only raise their chances by 0.00001%. A sacrifice. Ban is a cat. She'll chase fleeing prey, but she'll also kill prey that doesn't flee. I think that's... Hold on, I know what that is. No, I don't know what it is after all. But you can ask Erin, I guess. She'll chase fleeing prey, but she'll also kill prey that doesn't flee, and only after toying with it first. So you're saying one of them should become the fleeing prey, so the other one can hide and yeah. You get the gist of it. Cats are terrible people. Well, cats are not people. Still, that's true, it would worth betting on. Let's have one sacrifice. We'll decide with rock, paper, scissors. Okay. Whoever loses has to go taunt ban, then get laughed at and killed, all to buy as much time as possible. Does that work for you? However, I don't know if Aaron is still here, but I have heard the song before and listened to it. I can probably look it up again after the stream if Aaron can answer it. Oh, it's Dream and Discharger, okay. Then it is the one I just looked up. Damn it, I should have been more confident. I did look up Dream and Discharger, I was pretty sure it was this. But somehow then I thought, no, I guess it's not it. But it is. No need for rock, paper, scissors, I'll do it. You two go on to the key room. No way, Oni-chan. I'll do it. This is all my responsibility. I was the one who listened to Bancastle and trusted her, so I've got a thing or two to say to her. Both Bella and Angie decided to be the sacrifice and wouldn't listen to the other. Well, then just do fucking rock, paper, scissors after all. See, you need rock, paper, scissors to decide, right? If you don't act quickly, we won't even have a chance to use this plan. They'll be here any moment. Okay. Either Angel or I will be the sacrifice. Lambda Delta, you'll take whoever's left, steal the key and take them back to the Golden Land. I will let you do it. Oni-chan. Quit joking around. You've got to let me act like a big brother at least once in a while. There's no time. Rock, paper, scissors, sit around. I'm Super Paper, so of course we'll start with that. Got it, you two? Fine. No regrets, okay? 3, 2, 1, paper! It really was a stupid kid's game of rock, paper, scissors. No, the song ended. Since they had promised to start with paper, this was a chance to make a surprise that they could use something else. However, both Battler and Angie chose rock. And yet it wasn't a tie. Because in addition to those two rocks was one person who chose scissors. After staring stupidly at their fists and those scissors, they looked at her. Ah dang, we were supposed to start with paper, so I figured I'd use scissors and beat you both. I guess paper should have stuck with paper. There had been no reason for Lambda Delta to join in on the game. This wasn't the time for a joke like that. Bella and Angie, each trying to lose, chose rock. Lambda Delta alone chose scissors. Don't tell me you intentionally... If you die, we can't even get back to the Golden Land. It doesn't count. Well, then you can just use this. When Lambda Delta made a clenched fist, a palely glowing fragment appeared there, and she gave it to the pair of them. Bella had seen one of those before. One of these. It was a magic fragment like the one Erica had used before disappearing, which would allow one to cross the sea of fragments. With that, you'll be able to return to the Golden Land. And anyway, I'm the best person for the job. You two probably wouldn't last a handful of seconds against Baron. If it's me, not only will an hour be no problem, but who knows? I might even win, and I owe her one. I've got to make this my victory and even the score. Still, away games are such a pain. Lambda Delta pretended to complain as she stood up straight. Anyway, see you in a bit. I guess a show-off like me couldn't stick to being a spectator after all. Sorry for stealing your time to shine. It's sad that I won't be able to watch your game until the end. But I've already been shown the script, so I'm not missing anything. Lambda. Then with a broader smile and a wink. This is your happy ending. I've already figured out what happens next, so there's no need to watch. I'll see the two of you again in the credit roll of your happy ending, that is. Wait. Lambda Delta snapped her fingers, and the two of them turned into Competo candies. She picked them up, took aim at the glint of the golden key, and flicked them away. That way, they should be able to reach the key without Bancastle noticing. Dang, what terrible luck. What were the odds of them both playing a rock against my scissors? I don't know. It wasn't nice of me to test you like that. Sorry, you two. And then, Lambda Delta's body was lit up by an emerald green light. When she turned around, the cat's eyes and Lambda Delta's met. Lambda Delta grinned and waved. There was a fierce roar and several bright flashes. What in the... A chain of explosions flashed by one after another, enveloping Bancastle and her pack of familiars in an instant. They were multicolored fireworks, or rather multicolored candy that burst with a flash and scattered everywhere. Countless stick candies, sugar sculptures, cookies, and tarts flew in every direction, and each one of those split and exploded into hundreds of candies, each of which exploded again into a cloud of competos. However, these sweets weren't sweet. The competo was heavier than lead, harder than steel, and sharper than any blade. As the colorful cloud exploded outward, it blasted the entire pack of cats into little fucking bits. The emerald green glints were scattered everywhere and sparkled like the night sky, and among them danced a cloud of pretty candies that looked like they'd go well in a Christmas tree. It was sufficiently outrageous and beautiful and cute to mark the great witch Lady Lambda Delta's appearance on the scene. By which you mean it was batshit insane. Oh, if it isn't Lambda. I was hoping to meet you in the party hall. I love you, Bern. Isn't whispering of our love all the better if we're alone? I'll be happy to hear it after I've plucked off all your limbs. They have a weird way of loving each other. With a jerk of her chin, Bern ordered her familiars to attack. This is my dearly beloved and my only friend in the world. Her arms from the elbow down, her legs from the knees down. You can chew those up however you please, but not a scratch anywhere else on her. The crowd of cats undulated again, formed to a single mass, and became the emerald green leviathan that would swallow up any poor victims who snuck into the city of books. It was shaped like an impossibly vast whale. However, would it look like a whale from Lambda's perspective? She probably couldn't see anything except an immense mouth about to swallow up everything. How exactly are you supposed to just eat her limbs if you swallow her entirely? Simply wonderful. I'm about to be overwhelmed by Baron's love, aren't I? I do love you, Lambda. Once your limbs are gone, I'll screw you through your butt and hang you by my bed. Yeah, that's an image I didn't need to see today. Every morning I'll give you good morning kiss, and every evening I'll kiss you good night. Sounds great. Then I'd better wrap you up in my love too. However, Lambda Delta's war cry was swallowed up by the glowing, writhing leviathan in a single bite. Yes, you are wonderful, Lambda. I love that empty-headed way you just do things without looking ahead or worrying about your own life. Huh? Wind? Relationship anti-goal, seriously. At the same instant that Lambda Delta was swallowed and Bancastle was sure of her victory, the latter felt a slight breeze playing with her hair. The countless sweets that Lambda Delta had sent flying like fireworks, and which drifted about like the decorations at a Christmas party, were flowing. No, they were converging on a single point. It was like watching a firework run backwards. Countless weeds rapidly contracted around the vast closed mouth of the Leviathan. A gigantic reverse explosion concentrated on a point inside it, or perhaps it was more like countless candies showering the Leviathan from all directions like bullets. Inside that massive green was a black swirl. That swirl was on the palm of Lambda Delta, who wore a defiant smile. It was a mass of super gravity. All the sweets, the cats, the whale, and everything else was being sucked into that one point and crunched. I guess she is kind of badass after all. I was surprised that she could just be swallowed immediately and that was it.
I'll hold you tight. Get over here, Burn.
You're trying to suck me in? All of the candies Lambda Delta had scattered were getting sucked back into the black hole in her palm at unbelievable speed. The reverse explosion of the oncoming candy whittled away at the Leviathan, crushing it inwards.
Lambda.
With all her strength, Bancastle held her ground in midair, trying to resist the supergravity. For the first time, all trace of condescension had left her face. Even Lambda Delta's cocky expression was marred by the sweat trailing from her forehead. Because their power was so overwhelming, any victory would have to be instantaneous. If either relaxed at the slightest, they would match each other's strength and get dragged into another dizzyingly long fight that could last for centuries. Well, I mean, considering that we are trying to buy time, wouldn't that actually be a good thing? Neither of them had any desire to go through that again, so neither of them showed the slightest mercy for their most beloved friend. By now, the Leviathan had been completely crushed and compressed inside the black hole. Bancastle was the only one still holding her ground. However, a windstorm of candy asteroids like the asteroid belt repeatedly slammed into Bancastle, wearing away at her girl's form bit by bit.
I've got to get away or I'll really...
The thing flying into Bancastle's range of vision was a comet pelting straight for her with a massive present box at its core and a cloud of candy surrounding it. That's funny. Maybe that's what's gonna be summoned in the Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Lambda. My buddy.
The candy comet wiped out Bancastle along with her scream. It burst into little bits, and within a blink of an eye, it was sucked back into a hole of supergravity. Once it was all gathered into one place like a gem, it began to spin rapidly. It was flattened by the centrifugal force, turning into something whose shape resembled a galaxy. After swallowing all of the cats of their master, it now looked like a wiggling, flickering emerald green galaxy that folded just above Lambda Delta's palm. A pocket of supergravity kept compressing it further and further, until at the end it had become a single green shining competo. You should eat that. Then it fell down into her outstretched palm.
Sorry, Burn. I wanted to play with you always, so I've always taken it easy and pretended to be in a pinch.
Lambda Delta held the competo above her head and peered at it.
But the truth is I'm just impossibly strong. Sorry about that.
Then she pressed the competo to her pink lips, gave it a light kiss, and bit down. This doesn't taste like burn. Lambda Delta licked her fingertips, then turned to face the empty air behind her. I already knew, my beloved Lambda.
I love you, Burn.
Liar, I knew that you never took me seriously.
In that case, let's love each other for real. Both of us seriously.
I do love you, Lambda Delta. I'm happy, so happy.
I do love you, Bancastle. I'll turn you into candy and cuddle you with my tongue forever.
No matter who wins, our love will never fade. Yeah, here's some more of that anti-relationship, anti-goals. That's wonderful, just wonderful.
Okay, let's love each other right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. With a crash, crack lines appeared across the sky of the Golden Knight. Oh shit, they're attacking. Then finally the barrier of the Golden Land was breached by the fleet's assault. It was a bizarre scene, more ridiculous than anything anyone had imagined. The sky of the Golden Land shattered like glass, and a fleet of sailboats flew in one after another. They were crowded with goats, pushing each other and spilling off the sides. Spilling off the sides.
Come, let us begin. This is the Golden Land's final banquet.
A banquet. It wasn't some fancy metaphor, but a simple statement of fact. The overwhelming surge of goat troops came in like a tsunami. The residents of the Golden Land, who stood defiantly, were like a forgotten sandcastle on the beach. A fight between a wave and a sandcastle is not a fight. This was a banquet for the oncoming Vikings at a stand-up meal of voracious, merciless goats. Damn, look at Natsuri.
There's no way around it.
Fire!
Good though. Come, goats, bring destruction to all that has formed, stillness to all that moves, despair to all who live.
All those who could use magic fired it off at once. With a shout like a thunderclap, Goat Tsunami rushed forward. Everything collided at once, and there was a brilliant and terrible explosion. Sparks and smoke, flying splinters and screams. For just an instant, the fierce magical cannonballs, fired by Beato Vigili and the Chester Sisters Court, seemed to halt the Goat Tsunami in its tracks. However, the numbers were so great that they didn't even flinch. The goat wave continued to walk over the corpses that had been blasted away or which had fallen to their knees in weariness. The mound of corpses piled up, and still more goats were shot down as they tried to cross it, so that in a few seconds it really was tall enough to be a tsunami.
Pitiful! This Golden Land you build is nothing more than a sandcastle some kid left on a beach. Be swallowed up and disappear. Perhaps you should liken to ripples beating meaninglessly against a wharf. A sandcastle getting swallowed by a wave. Just you try swallowing my castle.
Beato lifted her hands, telling the pair of battle towers that had been hidden deep in the ground that the day of glory had come again. The goat tsunami looked up at it in shock. After all, this time the tsunami that towered over everything wasn't them.
Fire!
That again. There go my ears. A thunderstorm of rapid-fire ballista rounds left from the bell tower gun ports. The goats let out a confused scream at the furious tempest that was bearing down on them. However, they saw something else too. Oh. In the sky high above the tower was a reaper astride a divine horse and backdrop by the moon. Kind of like the Odin summon in FF7. A massive spear the size of a tower in his hand. The great witch sitting on the horse by the reaper spoke.
Welcome back. This world does not belong to you. Do it, teacher!
The heavenly spear pierced the ground. For an instant it looked like some divine tower was sticking out of the ground. However, that was the very last thing those eyes ever saw. The sacred spear was the embodiment of heaven's wrath, and the strength to bury an unclean city in a single stroke was unleashed upon a pack of goats. With a massive explosion that resembled a volcanic eruption, goats were sent flying all over the place.
Not bad. I guess they really are witches.
Yeah, bit late for saying that now.
But is it enough? The enemies keep on coming. It looks like we'll be the ones following them after all. At least you two seem to be enjoying yourselves.
Well, I think Kindle's also enjoying himself.
How could one fail to enjoy such a festival? It seems our time in the limelight shall not be stolen from us after all.
Looks like it. I'm all fired up. Yes, the crowd of goats truly was like a wave pressing in from the sea. You might be able to split a ripple on the beach with your feet, but you can't split the sea. Witches could. However, that meant the other side also had someone who could split sea. Suddenly, smoke poured from one of the two towers, and the ground shook as it crumbled.
What the hell happened? Over there, on top of the other tower.
Erica, but of course, it is your turn now, is it not? At the top of the other battle tower, Erica stood gracefully, wielding her scythe.
I'd say that's enough to show the witches of the Golden Land proper respect. All magic is fake. It's just a fantasy sandcastle that always vanished when mystery swallows it up. Playing witches was pretty fun though. I think I remember playing something like this with some older girls from the neighborhood when I was younger. So let's bring this to an end. Now it's time to hear your scream.
You, not your, to hear you scream. Erica threw that pretentious pirate hat that she had been wearing this whole time into the sky. With the moon behind it, Erica's form, her afterimage, vanished from the tower's peak.
Where's she? We have her on the rider. She's on the side of the tower.
Shaking with a wild, joyous laughter, Erica dashed straight down the tower. She swung her scythe like a batter, and as she passed along the tower's wall, the gun ports, walls, pillars, and everything else was crushed, leaving a trail of smoke. So from the sidelines, it looked as though a line of smoke suddenly split the tower from top to bottom. The golden arrows of the Chester Sisters course chased after Erica like golden threads in a sewing machine.
You monster, get yourself sword and embroidered. Yeah. Good though. Good desu.
Even the golden arrows couldn't catch up with Erica. Finally, Erica reached the bottom of the battle tower, and empty cartridges were rejected from the golden bows.
Burst useless tower. Isn't that the phrase?
Is it? What phrase is she referring to? Erica, who had now landed on the ground, slowly stood up and tapped the tower behind her with a handle of her scythe. Is that something in Japanese, perhaps? Oh, I don't know. Only thing I know is she probably just destroyed the tower. The tiny tap cut the final string that held the tower together, and the whole thing fell in on itself with an earth-shattering crash. Oh, damn. Can we please not have eyes in the sky? That's kind of not a cool thing. Once again, the dark tsunami rumbled forward through the rubble and smoke.
I am Fudo Erica, witch of truth. This moment marks the dismantling of the Golden Land by the truth. Dust to dust, illusions to illusions. I'll end your daydream for you. Come try and remember ghosts. Remember how you died so long ago.
The goat tsunami swallowed everything up. When she saw them sink under the black sea of goats, Erica could fall from atop the debris of the tower.
Come on out, kill them, massacre them all, cut off their heads, and stick them on spears. Ghosts of 1986, the time has come for the whirlpool of truth to swallow your whole and erase you so long.
If I had broken the magic circle around the key beforehand, after all. By the time Battle and Angie reached it, it was falling apart like the sand in an hourglass. They tried punching and kicking it to make it break faster, but nothing they did hastened the process. Hastened.
It looks like she broke it a while ago, but it'll probably take some time before it's gone.
Just a bit longer, I think. If we could just buy time for 5 minutes. Judging by the speed the magic circles were crumbling and the general appearance of the whole scene, it looked like it would be over soon. However, right now, could even 5 minutes be considered soon? They turned around. Beyond the bookshelf ravine was a universe. Even for Batla, who had seen Berta's finds many times over, the battle between Lambda Delta and Bernkatsu was so mind-defying that he couldn't think of a single word to describe it. When he finally managed to find a word, it was a universe. Each time a battle between Lambda Delta and Bernkatsu unfolded, the universe was created between the pair of them. Big bangs would take place, universes would be created, galaxies beyond number would be born and erased. Then just when it seemed that a big crunch had occurred and that the universe had met its demise, there would be another big bang, another universe would be created. It was like watching gods play. The two witches created and destroyed worlds over and over again, almost as though two creators were fighting to prove that their universe was the right one. If you let your guard down in the slightest, then just watching this would steal your soul. That's how it felt.
We'll be able to get the key back any second now. Then it'll be possible to go back to the Golden Land with the fragment Lambda Delta gave us, right?
Go back as soon as you get the key. I can't leave Lambda Delta on her own. You're going to jump into that fight? Are you stupid or just an idiot? I think you're both. You can't leave her on her own. I mean, what exactly do you expect to be able to do? Like, let's say Lambda Delta has a fighting power of 1,000,000 and Bernkastel has a fighting power of 1,000,000. Adding you to that would probably be like adding 0.0000000000000. 5 hours later, 0.0000000. 10 days later, 0.00001 to that. So you could just as well not do it at all. Like, I mean, seriously, that's the stupidest sacrifice you could possibly do. Join two godlike beings in their fight to help one of them when you are nothing compared to them. What exactly do you expect to accomplish there? The fight may defy common sense, however, they're perfectly and evenly matched. So, if anyone jumps in, even a single weak human like me, something might break. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have opened my mouth. I mean, there's a certain logic behind what he says just now, but still, I don't know. Can he be certain that their fight is exactly balanced? I guess we'll see. A perfect balance maintained by two great powers can easily break by adding even a little strength to one side. Yeah, thanks game for just crushing everything I just said. However, actually rushing in there to add that little bit of strength would be literally suicidal. Like a moth flying into a furnace. It might burn up before it even reaches it. Once you get the key, it goes straight back to the Golden Land. We don't know how long they can hold out, remember? You can't go back alone, not when everyone is fighting. That's right, this is your fight. So fight. I know you were getting on dying with everyone else, but you've got to overcome that feeling and live in the future. That's what you decided to do, right? Angie had no words to respond with. Her brother and everyone else would probably die. I mean, they're already dead anyway, So she wanted to die in the same place and at the same time as everyone else. However, that could not be allowed. And she must wish for it. She had already made up her mind. She had sworn to live in the future without turning back to look at everyone's death. When you get back to the Golden Land, show the key to Beato. Beato will show you 2 doors. Then she'll give you an easy puzzle and tell you to open one of them. That's the last game on my game board. 2 doors. Well, of the 2, one will lead you to the future. Don't worry, I'm sure you won't choose the wrong one now. Also, once you go through it, don't turn back until the door closes. Why can't I turn back? When the door closes, you won't be able to see our fate anymore. In other words, we'll be shut inside the cat box. A fate inside a cat box has endless truth. That's right. We might have lost pathetically, or we might have made a miraculous comeback and survived. In other words, if you, the Witch of the Future, are sent into the future without witnessing the end of our conflict, we'll still have a chance at victory. However, if you keep on looking at us, you'll see when we get annihilated. That'll put the odds of our defeat at 100%. So to give us a miraculous victory, you must not turn back once you go through that door. Got it?
Yeah.
So I'll go and help Lambda Delta. If you go back to the Golden Land after seeing me walk off like a hero, this is how my story will end for you.
The end of your battle will be sealed in the cat box, so you certainly won't lose.
Exactly. So don't look back. You'll have the key soon. You've got to go back to the Golden Land like your life depends on it. So real quick, I have one message for the you of the future. Don't forget it and engrave it into your heart.
Okay.
No matter what happens, never abandon the hopes that keep you alive. All of us are always behind you. If you just believe, we can even speak to you. Believe it. If one thing is certain, it's that miracles happen when you believe. Oh, at that moment, Lambda Delta and Bernkastel were wrapped in a massive explosion. Surely one of them had delivered a powerful blow. There were no further explosions, so that strike must have decided the match. I thought Battle was going to help them. I thought, didn't he just say they were even? On an even footing, so guess that wasn't true after all. When the smoke clears, who will be left standing? The magic circle sealing the key still needed several minutes to dissolve. Well, then it can only be Bernkastel. Of course.
Are you still there, my beloved Lambda Delta?
All that came into sight was Bernkastel. There was no answering voice from Lambda Delta. If this was a sign of her victory, it did not cause Bernkastel's expression to grow any brighter.
Too bad, Lambda. And I thought we'd be able to build a universe together. It's too bad, really too bad.
Bancastle was still focusing all her nerves on the battle, so she took no notice of Battler and Angie by the key. However, she would probably notice soon, and then there would be nowhere to run. The last section of the magic circle would suddenly fade away. However, almost cruelly, the final circle went slower than the rest. Seeing that, any hopes that it would dissolve in a minute, or maybe a few dozen seconds, were crushed absolutely. I guess this might be the time when Eva comes to rescue us. Battler readied himself. Well, this fight probably won't work out as well as the last one, but it looks like I'm up now. I'm up now.
Oni-chan.
You great Angie. I'm proud that you didn't try to stop me. With tears still pouring down her face, Angie lovingly rubbed her cheek against the hand that had been patting her head. I've got to gather the kitties again. I thought Battler would be with her, but I don't see him for some reason. After all, one guy like him would be about as annoying as a pebble in my shoe. The smoke cleared completely, and they saw a huge cloud of candy bits floating around like it was Lambda Delta's corpse. A star-shaped cookie bounced off of Bancastle's head. It was missing one of its points, giving it a lonely feeling. Lambda Delta, live with me. We'll become a single universe with you inside me. Bancastle chewed the cookie and swallowed it. This way we'll always be together. I love you, Lambda. Me too, Burn. Oh shit! Bancastle's stomach suddenly swelled like a balloon. The bulge rose from her stomach to her throat and exploded like a firework from her mouth. From Bancastle's mouth spewed fireworks, sparks, fragments of candy. You really should fix those habits you had since you were a cat. Here's a hint. If you find a piece of candy lying on the ground somewhere, don't pick it up and eat it. What the fuck? She's literally puking rainbows. Didn't expect that in this game. Bancastle doubled over even more, still spitting up an exploding firework. The birth of a small universe from that sweet, and it directly from the inside of her stomach. Like, how would that even feel? The birth of a small universe exploding from your stomach is not a sentence I ever expected to utter. Even Bancastle couldn't withstand that. As Bancastle repeatedly vomited fireworks so violently that it seemed her guts would spill out. That is kind of gross and hilarious at the same time. Her body flickered in and out of existence, and she glared at Lambda Delta with a terrifying expression. Her body was flickering because she had taken so much damage that even maintaining her form was now difficult. How slowly, Burn. Your body's falling apart. I sort of felt like losing for a bit, but I changed my mind. If I became a single universe with you, you wouldn't whisper to me of your love anymore. True, Meow. I'm not the type of to give food to a fish I've already caught. I know. That's why you shine so beautifully. You lead someone on, but never actually dote on them, just like a proud queen of cats. I'll turn you into a cardboard box and make you my scratching post. And I'll make you a shamisen and get bored after plucking one string, then put you in a cupboard and let the dust pile up on you. Okay, I guess they're still at it. The goat tsunami had swallowed up everything, but I thought it said tea spray. Yeah, tea spray was still flying about. The goat tsunami had swallowed up everything, but sea spray was still flying about. The reefs resisted the ocean that was trying to cover them and were smashing waves left and right. The Seven Sisters of Purgatory and the Inquisitors of Heresy specialized in close-range combat and were rapidly building a mountain of corpses. The witches fought hard too, but they would have preferred to fight at a distance if they could. Illusions alone wouldn't be enough. In these battle conditions, all of the humans were thrust right into the center of the fight. Everyone in the Ishidumia family displayed a fighting spirit equal to the witches and guarded their backs. Even humans are not powerless. They have guns. The goats supported fantasy. They could use these as the ultimate anti-magic weapons. If the goats supported mystery, they could use these in a much more obvious way. Those .45 long called bullets delivered fatal wounds to each and every goat they struck. Yeah, but how much ammo do they have? Just die already! How long are you going to resist? Give up and sing, me out.
Telling Enoshiromia to sing makes him fight all the harder. Little girl, you have no idea what the Shiromia family is.
You were dead even before 1986, weren't you? It's about time you stopped moving, Granny.
Erika's razor-sharp side buried itself in Kinzo's chest. It dug straight into his heart, but the daring smile on Kinzo's face didn't even falter.
Oh, was my death ever witnessed by anyone outside the cat box? I am indestructible. Indestructible!
True that. A punch containing the entirety of Kinzo's last spark of life sent Erika flying.
Father, are you okay?
Overcome my corpse. The Shiromia family never turns back.
As Erika tried to deliver the finishing blow, Klaus stepped in between them, blocking the way.
I will be your opponent in Mara's place.
Oh, if it isn't the incompetent investing expert, it's pretty impressive how you managed to fight all the worst bets, losing your money so quickly.
And yet even I remember to tie my shoes.
Huh?
Erika tried to look down at her feet, but what she saw was Klaus's left fist. That is pretty cool, actually. Klaus's left uppercut made Erika float in the air, not by magic, but by the simple laws of physics. For an instant, Erika saw the move.
Maybe I was incompetent as an investor. However, any of my college friends will attest to my talent as a boxer. I will not allow you to discredit every part of the Shiromia family, little girl.
He is kind of badass if he really goes all out, isn't he? We usually just see the... I don't know. The cold side of him? I'm not sure what to call it, but we don't often see his energetic, kind of badass boxing side, but it's kind of cool.
You damn small fry.
Oh, it's an illusion created by a lonely Jessica.
At the school festival, I introduced Kanokun to everyone. Saku and Hina and everyone else. All of my friends can testify to that. Don't make assumptions about our relationship based on your own imagination.
Oh no, she activated the murder eye. Jessica's body blow made the goat's massive body cave in. Splendidly done, milady. To think that you could wield such power in a tight spot like this.
Well, of course. After all, I'm thinking I don't really care if I die. This is the first time that we've worked together with you at my back. Too bad it isn't cutting the cake.
Jessica laughed embarrassedly. She looked even more relaxed than she had on stage at the school festival. We have plenty to cut here besides cake.
You always try to sound so cool. But that's what I like about you.
The massive bodies rushed at them, trying to deny the relationship and their very existence. Had two choices, be sliced or be struck. Each time one of those bodies hit the floor, it became proof that the two of them existed.
Shannon is an illusion. George is an antisocial shuttle. The love itself is an illusion, it doesn't exist.
George-sama, look out.
The goat's log-sized fist buried itself in George's face. I guess what they're spouting here is like theories of the people on the internet. This was the middle of a massive, confused battle. There was no way to dodge an unexpected attack like that.
Huh?
An antisocial shotgun, huh? Very well. Say what you wish about me. George had indeed been hit with a fist right to the center of his face. However, he didn't bend over backwards, not even an inch. The goat started to wonder what it was he had hit. Hadn't he punched a human made of flesh? It was as though he had slammed his fist into a steel wall, and it was his fist that was hurting. However, the goat was too scared to move his fist from George's face. After all, if he did, the expression on that face would probably be too terrifying. George pressed his hand against that fist. You probably could get testimony from my old classmate from school. Yes, I was an antisocial person. However, that's one more thing that will tell you something far more important. George was only grabbing the goat's massive fist in his tiny hand. However, that fist was being crushed as though it had a vice around it. Even though the other hand was tiny, the goat couldn't even move its fist. Man, it's badass George. Ushidome George never fought for himself, no matter what happened to him. He was a coward who ran away from all threats. Everyone will tell you that. However, they won't tell you that he never got into a fight. I accepted the fact that someone as pathetic as me would be bullied. However, oh, there's the cool face again. I really like this image. Never have I let anyone provoke or challenge anyone who treated someone as pathetic as me. Like a friend. Holy shit, the goat's broken teeth flew through the air. George's furious feet split the heavens.
Shannon approached George for his money and...
The goat's filthy finger touched Shannon's back. That finger exploded and boiled away.
My love for Georgeson is true and pure. Georgeson must have kept all the letters I wrote him. Read those and you'll have your proof.
You can write anything in a letter. The contents of a letter, no proof of true love.
A blazing red light churned the goat's entire body. Shannon slowly turned around, her face full of rage and contempt.
Pitiful spectator, ignorant of love. You have no right to read a mystery, much less a person's heart. Disappear.
An absolute barrier rose up around Shannon, burning up the goats around her with its flames.
Yeah, maybe we're dead, but that doesn't give anyone the right to criticize us. No one can deny the love Maria and Mama shared.
Maria smiled, showing... I'm sorry, what did you just say? The love Maria and Mama shared, yeah, those must have been not many moments. Maria smiled, showing her teeth, and performed her job without even looking at her hands. Then she tossed the fully loaded rifle straight up into the air. Come on and get some. Come and get some. Rosa, who stood back to back with Maria, caught her without turning around. Imagine if this happened to us. For every theory of ours that turned out to be wrong, well then please no. I would regret ever having made up any theories. Glad we didn't post any on the internet. No, that wasn't all. Maria had passed the gun to her mother perfectly without even looking back. Rosa's head was pointed at the ground as she stroked the frigid trigger with her index finger. If any of you doubt my love for my daughter, step forward. The crowd of goats, cowed by Rosa's ferocity, didn't get any closer to her.
Then I'll deny it. Being the serial cheater you are, you were always off flying around with some man and leaving Maria all alone. Nothing like that is written anywhere in Maria's diary. Hee.
True, I mean, we got shown, we were shown all those scenes, but like, was it all just Angie being convinced that it was like that? Was it really based on any written proof? I mean, we already learned that Angie forgot all the affection and warm sides of Kinzo and the other family members. So there are more things she might have remembered wrongly, or she might have gotten a wrong image about because of what the other people all in the world were saying.
You should know better than anyone else. Rosa didn't love you. She was a crappy mother who regretted even giving birth to you.
Erica was peering at the unfeeling moon, the taste of metal in her mouth. For a moment she didn't realize what was happening. Was that cold feeling on her back the ground? Huh? Why am I lying down? And wasn't the moon full? Why isn't it night? Come to think of it, my teeth hurt. There's something cold and hard there. Then she figured it out. She was lying sprawled on the ground with a gun barrel shoved into her mouth. And the thing splitting the moon was the angry king of wolves protecting its child. The gun barrel exploded inside her mouth, shattering her medulla oblongata. But it was only her afterimage. Again?
What a terrifying woman you are. Are you really human?
Erica, who had escaped death at the last moment by leaving an afterimage, that's kind of a cheater move, found a metallic flash right before her eyes, which had been there even before she reappeared. The fountain pen went right through Erica's eye, crushing it. Of course, that was another afterimage. However, when Erica escaped and reappeared somewhere else, a heel was already there waiting for her, from the goat's perspective. Several afterimages of Erica seemed to be appearing at once, all of which were pierced by Rosa at the same time. Why does she have such an overpowered move? It's kind of unfair. If you say that again, I'll have to get serious.
You must be really strong.
What the hell? And so Erica couldn't reappear anymore. At the very least, not within Rosa's range of attack. Erica put a lot of distance between her and Rosa, reappearing in midair. What are these people? What the hell? Huh? Erica's animal instincts made her turn her head slightly to the side just in time. Where her head used to be, there was an odd shower of sparks. It wasn't magic, it was a real physical phenomenon caused by lead smashing against lead. To think that two bullets shot from different angles could have flown with impossible precision at where her head once was, so that both of them hit and bounced off each other like billiard balls.
Ah, so close.
Sorry about that. We're big fans of the whole take out the boss first strategy, you see. It's kind of badass. Shooting like that together.
Clay pigeons are our specialty. Flying along in a straight line probably isn't a good idea.
The two of them spun their rifles in exactly the same way at exactly the same time, reloading them in a manner that put all westerns to shame and pointing them back up at where Erica was in the sky.
You monsters!
Once again, their accurate shots plunged through the forehead of Erica's off-roaders, bouncing off each other like billiard balls with a shower of sparks. This time, Erica appeared far behind them. She had to admit it. She had been forced to escape to a place outside the range of those guns fired by humans. Then the light from the moon was blocked. The place she had fled to so rapidly exploded, sending chunks of rubbish flying. A massive longsword had been plunged into the ground. It was Glander's.
Oh, if it isn't my old friend.
She had dodged by a hair, but this bulky, brutal longsword made more of a cannonball shaped like a sword than something for cutting with. Though it was more of a... Even though she dodged it, the blast of air pressure made her eardrums throb. Lena was serious. She seriously intended to smash Erica to bits.
What's with the scary face? Can't you try and act a bit, I don't know, cuter?
Do you find this enjoyable, destroying people's dreams and illusions?
Of course it's enjoyable. What do you expect an intellectual rapist to do?
You are an evildoer, and yet I used to believe you were the sort of evil worthy of sympathy.
I never asked for your sympathy.
Not cutting you down immediately upon our meeting, that sin of mine is what brought you stay to Paris. Leonard's hair bristled with rage. Beside this expression on one of her old friends. The sight of this expression on one of her old friends pinned Erica to the spot. My friend, allow me to free you before you can suffer. I will not let you bear any further sin.
Well, wait.
The force of anger that welled from Lena's whole body struck Erica, or rather the swirl of blast and wind from Lena's massive longsword sent her flying. The cannonball with the blade repeatedly cracked the ground just after Erica leapt away, so it almost looked as though Erica was jumping backwards, smashing the earth beneath her with each jump.
Leonard,
Friend of mine, rest in peace. The great longsword split the air again, pulverizing the ground. However, this time Erica was nowhere to be seen. Where did she escape to? Erica had broken the barrier of the Golden Land, landing on a ship whose bow was barely inside. A boat, I guess. Practically speaking, she had run away. Fully aware of this, Erica howled, her face contorted with humiliation. Her shoulders heaved with her breathing, and she even forgot to fix her hair. The scythe fell from her hand and landed with a clank to the floor. That sound brought her back to her senses.
stupid goats, what are you standing around staring for? Open gun ports, load concept negation explosive rounds, disregard aiming procedure, just fucking fire! The warships that had fallen through the Golden Land opened their gun ports one after another, and then they all fired at once in a scatter massive cannonballs. Hundreds of explosive rounds they fired would negate the concept of anything or person they touched, smashing them into little bits and setting them ablaze with flames. The battlefield full of riding goats became a fiery hell.
Oh, it was correct. Okay, thanks. Wasn't sure about that one. A cannonball smashed the arbor. The once beautiful garden mazes burned down bit by bit, and the fleeing gold butterflies were wrapped in flames, burning into nothingness like little scraps of paper. This was no longer a battlefield where two sides fought for victory. It was just a confused, hellish pot of boiling water. The Golden Land was being torn apart. The once beautiful rose garden was filled with explosion craters, and its rose petals were scattered about without pity. There were flying bits of flesh, blood, fangs, jaws, shrieks and half-traced screams, and even amidst this hellish swirl, the goats of the dead continued to fight. As seen from atop the bows, this was hell without a doubt.
ships! Drop anchors! When Erica yelled, the goats on the boats ran around frantically, and one by one, massive anchors hanging by chains were thrown from ships' bows down into the earth below. Those anchors smashed through not only the ground but the bottom of the golden land itself, digging in with their wedge-shaped tips. Erica! Oh, Beatrice, sorry. This battle's so huge it had me worried. I thought I might not be able to find you before the whole thing ended. Beatrice landed on the front tip of the warship, facing up against Erica, who stood on the bow. You will not be forgiven. I'll finish you myself right here. Yeah, can somebody please fucking finally finish Erica? Beato jabbed with her pipe. It transformed into a beautifully intricate golden longsword. Oh, she has a sword now. Very well, it's just what I hoped for. I'll sell this. Erica threw her scythe up into the air. When it returned to her hand, it had become a sword similar to Beato's. The nearby goats crowded around Erica, trying to support her. You stay out of this. All of you need to start lifting the anchors. Tear up the golden land by its roots. Aye, aye, sir. The goats bowed and rushed to their posts. Several dozen ships had lowered their anchors, digging into the base of the golden land. Soon they were going to try and pull them up, tearing the golden land to pieces. America, I'll give you the honor of my final duel. Beata raised her sword, bowed in the ancient fashion, and waited for her opponent. Erica kicked off her shoes violently and slowly walked up to the tip of the boat barefoot. Then, in accordance with Beata's rules, she bowed back. It was a duel on the prow of a ship that pierced the sky. Below, the crowd of goats was being blasted away with indiscriminate cannonballs, burned up and crushed in the panorama of this world's end. I'm gonna say this is fucking epic as fuck. By now, it would be stupid to wonder whether anyone from the Tudor family was still alive. Yes, it truly was the end of this world. The end of the golden land, ground to dust, filled with flames. The golden rose garden was burning spectacularly, bits of fire and gold splashes flying around. The ground creaked as fissures ran through to the base of the golden land. All of the ships started pulling up their anchors at once. Crowds of mighty goats used all their monstrous strength to lift them. The anchors that dug into the golden land's base spread cracks throughout the entire golden land. Not just the ground, but the air itself was filled with cracks. How did that work? And shards of gold fell down everywhere. The golden land's end was adorned with the flames of hell and streaking gold fragments, both fiery red and ephemeral gold. Atop the boat's prow, Beato and Erica looked down on this, their swords crossed and sparks flying between them. Now there's one hell of a sight to see. Don't you think it's fitting? The perfect final chapter for your tale. The golden land made me dizzy. I may perish as well. However, no one can erase the fact that we are here. And you reached the answer. The Witch of the Future has a mission and hope, and will soon set off on a new journey. We have already succeeded. Too bad for you, Furudo Erica. This spell ends with Erica. This was a duel between the master of the illusion called the Golden Land and the witch who controlled the truth. The earth split behind them, the Golden Land was torn out, the catbox known as the Golden Land was ripped apart, and the nothingness below peeked out through the cracks. The stranded crowd of goats fell through the gaps and were swallowed by the sea of nothingness. Beatrice's friends were among them. They helped each other, lent a hand to each other, unwilling to sacrifice anyone until the final moment. Still, what a romantic and fragile illusion is the end of the world. The ground shattered and sank. It fell apart into the ocean of nothingness. None could survive. None could be saved. This was destruction. As the comrades in arms fell into the sea of nothingness, they looked up one last time and prayed. They prayed that the master of the Golden Land would be proof that the Golden Land had indeed existed. However, Beato didn't look down at them. They wouldn't have wanted her to. This is our Golden Land. I am the Empress of Golden Witch Beatrice, and I am here. We may fall, but we will not be defeated. You shall become living proof. I'll carve the proof of our existence into your chest. So long, Beatrice. This marks the end of that stupid endless game. Fall into hell, you